Well, hi there, everybody. I'm Anne Phillips, and welcome to Music, Mind and Wellbeing. Well, as promised, there is a guest that we have today, and that is no other. Shh. It's no other than Nico. Nico is the founder of No Halo. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you anything about it. I'm going to let Nico do all of that for you. So, Nico, tell us a bit about you.
Hey, what's up, man? You
Good.
got it right. I don't mind being introduced. You hit it right. Called it the right name. We're set. But yes, I'm the founder of No Halo, which is a brand that advocates for change. Doing better each day is kind of my goal. With the catchphrase that says you weren't created to be an angel, you were created to do better each and every day. I'm so excited to chat it up with you today. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you. And as you know, guys, I'm Anne Phillips, the Music, Mind and Wellbeing. And yes, I am a holistic mindset coach. That is all about change. So, is it really any surprise that Nick and I are talking to each other that way? I think, right? Are talking to each other? Absolutely not, because we're all about transformation. We're all about change. And from the female perspective and from the male perspective. So, we can chop it up and put it together. So, Nick, what made you get into the industry that you're in now?
Well, right now I work as a professional development facilitator and a group coach for individuals who want to change. What made me get into that industry was seeing the attributes that I used to live with in other people's lives and watching how much they struggled to overcome them. So I've built
Mm,
systems and strategies and courses so that individuals can, in my group coaching, achieve their definition of success. So I let them decide what that is. Um, and then with the behavioral health, I train professionals who work with individuals that come into their facilities, mainly because I did not seek any type of facility because of the way that they treated you. So
yes.
I work with those individuals to change habits, change vocabulary, change communication skills, and develop their leadership so that they can retain more individuals and not just retain, but also cause more individuals to change there. So that's the two functions that my business works in.
And I love that because you're coming from what we class in the UK as the lived experience, because you've been through it, you've been able to now coach and teach other people through that. I am exactly the same because of lived experience. I now am able to coach, and same as you, there's individual coaching, there's group coaching, there's courses, there is free resources all available for individuals who want to change, whether in a group setting or in an individual setting, but they've got to a place where generally they're slightly older and they're stuck. They're working within careers, but they know there's more and they want more. But the thing is, they're stuck because of habits and behaviors that sometimes they're not even aware of. So when it comes to the behavioral changes that really need to happen, one of the things that I do as a mindset coach is really getting them to think differently, think out of the box. That one question that can really trigger change in someone's life is so key. So like yourself, I've built up the systems to be able to do that. We are so like this in what we do, and it's very powerful. I mean, I've seen you speak in front of people, and I can honestly say, how the room reacts is amazing. When you do that, what is that deposit that you really want for them to grab hold of in that first instance?
It's a great question, and I thank you for the compliment. What I want to deposit into the crowd is hope and resilience. Those are the two main topics that I want them to be able to leave with. The hope that they went through what they went through so that they can use it for themselves. It didn't get
Mm,
to happen to somebody, it happened for them. and the hope that, hey, you know what, this happened for me for a specific reason, so that I can build my resilience, because life isn't isn't easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's why it's called life. So if I can
Exactly.
deposit that resilience into them, remind them, hey, there's other individuals that would love to be in the position that you're in right now, and would not only love to be in it, but be successful from it.
Mm.
That's that's the root of resilience right there. How can I continue to move on? And then hope, having opportunities. That's really what it is. If you are able to wake up and be completely functioning, because there's been days I woke up and haven't been
Yeah.
able to completely function, then use it to your advantage. If there's days that you might need a little bit extra more grace to yourself, then know that you need to give yourself that grace. So those are two things that I like to deposit into people. What about you, Anne? What's one of the two takeaways that you like?
The two takeaways that I absolutely want people to be able to have is the understanding that they are actually the change. They have the catalyst inside of them. And as you've rightfully said, it's their definition of success. I don't want somebody to say, oh, I need to have 3 cars, 2 houses, this, that, and the other. It is, what really is success for you? If success is building a phenomenal family, that's your success. How are we going to do that? You are the catalyst once you take responsibility. And that's the thing. When taking responsibility, you then understand that you can do the following: leave the comfort zone. It's twofold for me. You take that responsibility because you're the catalyst. And 2, you leave the comfort zone. I've talked about it many times. When you're in the comfort zone, it's great. When you step outside, you step into a fear zone where you're constantly, I don't know if I should be here and I don't know what I'm doing. And then you go further. You then go into the learning zone and you realize, oh, this opportunity is here. Oh, this one's here. And you start growing and developing. So it's only really twofold. Like you say, you're taking responsibility, being the catalyst. 2, you're leaving where you are. And in all of that, for me, it really is a mindset. If we can, as my book says, as my mantra says, affect the mind, empower the person. If I can really affect the way that you think, I know I'm going to empower you. I know that there's going to be change. When has change been difficult for you? Is not you as a person, but you when you've been helping someone. How is, what's been a difficult situation there?
Difficult situation when I'm helping somebody, is breaking the old identity. There is a old identity that many people function in, using your vocabulary, the comfort zone, and they're comfortable with that identity. When you go into the fear zone, you have to break that identity, and that's kind of where it gets stretched. When you go into that learning zone, that's when you have to learn to function in this new identity. So I'm able to guide individuals from their old identity to the new identity. And I know steps to do it, because there's indicators, regardless of what your definition of success is, there's indicators. But breaking that old identity is so difficult for a lot of individuals. And trust me, I get it. Like, it's not supposed to be easy, but in order to transform, in order to change, you have to break your identity of who you believe you are, and turn into a new identity of who you believe you can become. And then learning to function in that state. One of the best questions that I love to pose to people whenever they're going through that is, what would the ideal person do when they're living on a day-to-day basis? Because we get small pockets of time to function with people. There are many more hours they spend on their own. So if I can teach them how to think while they're on their own, hey, would somebody that my new identity is going to be embodying conduct themselves this way? That's one of the best tools that I've ever been able to offer somebody, because that's the hardest part, is changing the old identity.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Because for me, I call it being your authentic self. So when they're actually being their authentic self, they've already projected on who that successful person is that they want to be. But then they bring it right into the here and the now, into the mindful here and now, where they're present, and they start living as that person. And with that, they do incremental changes. So it's a case of, okay, so if I want my fitness life to be like this in the future, there's certain things that person's not going to do now. So I better start living that way. Oh, I want my family to be this way in the future. Right. I need to start training them and teaching them from now, because all these steps that we're taking right now, our future self is either going to be very happy or or not, right? But if you can be that authentic person now, and you're right, there are steps to get there. When you had to go through different interventions regarding becoming sober as a man, that must have been challenging, to have to go through those steps and self-reflect on who you were at that time.
Oh, most definitely. Uh, the biggest hurdle during that time was breaking the terms that have been placed on me, right? There's specific windows of time when you're growing up that you get called certain names, and you inherently believe those names are what you are. One thing that was told to me is, hey, you're going to be 10 times worse than your dad was. My dad wasn't a bad dude, but 10 times worse than not bad is pretty drastic. So that was one thing I had to break. When I was a young child, I used to get called little man. So there wasn't ever a window of being a kid. It was ever since I could remember, I've been called a little man and been had responsibilities like a little man did. So I had to break that and remember, like, no, that was your childhood. You should have acted like a child. You didn't have to be everything perfect then. Now, carrying that into adulthood, I would say ages 24 and above, the conduct that I had, the ways that I was acting, the emotions that I was functioning from, they weren't beneficial. They weren't helpful, and they didn't meet the standard of the individual that I knew I had the capabilities of being. So there's a capacity that needs to be met.
Absolutely. You know what, in that capacity, I really understand it, because connecting that inner child to our current and present situation will also propel us into our future situation, because there are so many connecting factors that hold us into our past. And some people like to say it's like driving and you're constantly looking in a rearview mirror. Yeah, all you can see is what's behind you, but you're going to have an accident because you're not looking ahead. And one of the things you need to be able to say is, just like driving, you're a driver, right, Nick?
Yeah.
So it's like, anybody who's not driving out there, just want you to know that, right?
Yeah,
So
I got you.
I'm telling you can be looking in this mirror and you can see what's going behind you. But when you're driving, in your subconscious, let me put it this way, in your subconscious, you've already seen what's behind you. You've already seen the past, but you're constantly focusing on the present. Occasionally, you look in the side mirrors or the rear view mirror just to check what's behind you. And that's the healthy connection. When it's not a healthy connection, we're constantly looking that way. We're constantly looking back. And that, for us, for change, means that for both of us, we need to make sure we utilize the steps that we can to bring them into the now, so that they have the future that they absolutely desire. And it's amazing with all that we can do. Because I can't believe the time's already going. I mean, Nick, what is one thing you would like to leave people with?
Well, today, while you were talking, a term hopped into my head. And so I think staying on this subconscious idea, one of the things that I know about the conscious and the subconscious is that your identity will not allow you to exceed itself. So if you have an identity of, let's use a certain housing, if you have an identity that you're always going to be a renter, then your subconscious won't ever allow you to be a homeowner. If you have an identity of being a homeowner, but not a property investor, then your subconscious won't ever let you be a property investor. When you were discussing the front view versus the side view and the rear view, there's a term here in the States and it's called rubbernecking. Have you ever heard it?
Yeah, we have that in the UK. There's an accident and then somebody's like,
that's it.
And then it causes the next accident, right?
Most people go through life rubbernecking their own life. They go through life thinking about all of the accidents that they had coming up, growing up, regardless of whether they were voluntary, involuntary. So they forget to put their eyes on the road ahead and therefore create another accident. And then wonder, well, why did this happen? It's because you're breaking your neck looking at something that you shouldn't be focused on.
I love that.
So you know, most people.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was just saying that most people just rubberneck through life. And while you were discussing, that's the visual that I got. So I wanted to leave people with that today. If you get any takeaway, are you rubbernecking through life like that?
Ooh, I love it so much. I literally want to go equestrian, horse riding, right? Okay, because to train a pony or to even to train certain animals, they will put blinkers on them, right? You can't rubberneck when you've got blinkers on. Your blinkers are going to give you focus. The blinkers are the systems that we have, the courses that we have, the books that we have, that are going to help you get to the next level and place in your authentic journey to become yourself, because you won't be able to when you've got blinkers on. You can't. If you look to the side, you would have to turn your whole focus around to focus on that part of your life. So with blinkers on, it's better that you stay focused on what's ahead of you. In other words, what's going on right now and what is to come. So that's my takeaway, guys. Mindful, stay in the now.
Yeah, because now is the present, and the present is a gift. Not everybody woke up this morning.
That's right. If you are still breathing, guys, you have an opportunity that is totally unique. In other words, you get to do whatever it is you need to do today. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, but today we're already here. People have left their houses and not returned. We can make all these plans, but it's for us to wake up. I have the Awake Journey. It's a program. It's a course I have. And the reason it's called Awake, it's allow well-being, allow knowledge every day. Every day. You get to do it every day. It's a powerful thing. You know, guys, we're here for you. And I can't wait until we have our next discussion. You know, these are going to be posted on a weekly basis on both of our YouTube channels. So my name's Anne Phillips from Music, Mind and Wellbeing. And I really look forward to speaking to Nick from No Halo. Come on, Nick, chime in.
You got it. It's been a pleasure, and I love the topic that we're going to be discussing over the next few weeks. Again, this is Nico from No Halo, because you weren't created to be an angel. You were created to do better today.
I'm not an angel. Who knew? Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you.